My fellow Farseers and Shamans, the time has come for what we have wanted for a very, very long time is finally here. The Earth Mother has heard our prayers and pleas. She calls to us as the wind howls across Kalimdor, and as the drums of war thunder once again, calling us home. It is time to return to our roots, pick up our shields, and spank some Naga tail because Classic Plus has arrived. Season of Discovery has been announced, which is essentially Classic Plus, and it comes with a whole boatload of new builds and class/role/spec combinations. Some of you have been excited about the potential for Shaman tanks to actually be a real spec to play in this variation of the classic WoW client. With that excitement comes a lot of questions for the initial thoughts on builds and runes and talents and gear. So I'm hoping to have a good grasp and loads of information readily available for you guys to soak up. Things are obviously subject to change over the course of this month and come November 30th with the launch of Season of Discovery. I'd like to initially start with a guide on how you'll be playing your Shaman tank, and then we can build upon that knowledge with later guides on other aspects of the class. So sit tight, there's going to be quite a bit of information to go over, and if you have any thoughts or questions yourself, I encourage you to leave them in the comment section down below. Like the video if you like it, subscribe for more content, and hit that noti bell. Also, please consider supporting my content further on my Patreon page and Twitch livestream page, twitch.tv/Barokoshama. All the links to everything will be in the description of the video down below. So without further ado, let's get into the guide. Runes are this game mode's new hot feature, which allows you to use new abilities that are not within the classic era game. Either they are from future expansions or completely new ideas that go with the nature and spirit of classic WoW. These new ability runes are obtained through exploring the world and its various challenges. We currently don't know where any of them are located since there is no PTR or data mining at this time, and we'll all be looking for them come November 30th, so stay tuned for more information on where to get them. With runes being easily interchangeable and hot swappable like our talent system in retail WoW, there are a lot of different combinations and gear itemizations that are going to go along with it. Here we will cover what runes you will likely want to use when tanking on your Shaman. And remember that things can change and this guide can be obsolete, but if that does happen, I will post updates and additional guide content to stay relevant. Your ideal chest rune for tanking on your Shaman will of course be Shield Mastery. Each time you block, you regenerate mana equal to 4% of your maximum mana, and you gain armor equal to 30% of your shield's armor value, stacking up to 5 times. You also gain 10% increased block chance and 15 increased block value. This obviously is a really good mana regeneration and defensive rune, as long as you are of course wielding a shield, which we will be. Your ideal glove rune for tanking will be Molten Blast. Blast enemies in a cone in front of you for 46 to 61 fire damage. This ability generates a high amount of threat. And Flame Shock periodic damage has a 10% chance to reset the cooldown on Molten Blast. With this ability, we won't have to worry about mobs resisting our nature spells, and this will also help us keep aggro on the groups we pull. It will also incentivize players to spread their Flame Shock debuffs to hopefully get resets on Molten Blast, which sounds like pretty fun gameplay. Our legs slot rune will obviously be Way of Earth. While Rockbiter weapon is active on your main hand weapon, you deal 100% increased threat, gains 30% health, take 10% reduced damage, gain 6% reduced chance to be critically hit by melee attacks, and Earthshock taunts your target to attack you. And Earthshock now has a separate cooldown from your other shock spells, but its range is now reduced to melee range. This is the rune that makes Shamans become the tank it's always wanted to be. With increased survivability and a dedicated taunt button with Earthshock, the only thing that we're now lacking is a separate spell for interrupting casts. Since Earthshock is also an interrupt on Classic WoW, having it now be our taunt makes it an overloaded spell to use. So hopefully our threat generation won't be an issue to where we can actually use this to interrupt spells most of the time. An honorable mention rune I would probably say is Shamanistic Rage. Shamanistic Rage reduces all damage that you take by 20%, and you regenerate mana every second for 15 seconds. Mana regenerated per second is equal to 15% of your attack power, 10% of your spell power, or 6% of your healing power, whichever value is greatest. Since you can put runes on multiple items on the same gear slot, it would be beneficial to have Shamanistic Rage on a pair of pants to use the ability between pulls or while you're out of combat to benefit from the mana regeneration buff it provides. Obviously, you'll want to swap your legs back before getting into combat, otherwise you risk dying if you don't have the Way of Earth equipped. With the Season of Discovery initial level cap being 25, we are also very limited on which talents we are able to take. It is also unclear if certain talents will also affect rune abilities that replace other abilities or empower your core spells. Talents will likely be updated to improve upon or interact with your runed abilities where it makes sense. That being said, Shaman is pretty clear on what path you should take for level 25 and respec once you have access to higher levels and more talent points later on down. We will mainly be sticking to the elemental tree to pick up needed damage increases and mana conservation talents. In the enhancement tree, the best value at level 25 would be shield specialization, though I foresee tank Shaman going into deep enhance come later level increases. Convection helps us a lot as Earthshock and Flameshock are likely to be some of our most casted spells, and having reduced mana cost on those spells will go a long way. Concussion obviously increases our damage, which in turn increases our threat generated. Elemental Focus gives us a chance to go into clear casting state, which makes our next damaging spell free to cast. Self-explanatory for that one. Shield Specialization interacted very well with the Shield Mastery rune, increasing your chance to block and the block value, which directly affects our mana regeneration and maintaining the defensive stacks generated from that rune. Normally on Classic WoW, we would want to play with a healthy balance of strength and agility as a melee DPS Shaman. Although, since you will be wielding a shield, strength becomes more important as it directly affects your chance to block attacks. Intellect also plays an important role as it increases our mana pool size and chance to score crits with our spells. As a spellcasting tank, both strength and intellect will be our two most important stats, along with stamina of course, though if our mana regeneration is good enough, we may be able to get away or get by with minimal intellect on our gear. So with that being said, a once underappreciated gear type will now be in demand for Shaman tanks. I'm talking about of the Gorilla gear. Gorilla gear has both strength and intellect, and for Shaman tanks, these items will now be properly utilized. Some notable items in the game early on will be dropped from Wailing Caverns, including of course the Of the Fang gear set, as it gives strength, intellect, agility, and spirit on its item sets, and the set bonuses work very well with a Shaman tank. Another notable item would be the Seed Cloud Buckler, as it will serve as a great shield until you get the Commander's Crest from Shadowfang Keep. The set bonuses for this set increase your nature damage, your healing done, and increases your intellect by a decent amount. Another notable set would be of course the Defias Brotherhood leather set from the Deadmines. The 2 set gives an increase in your armor, the 3 set is an increase in arcane resistance, which will help in Black Fathom Deeps, and the 4 set gives an increase in dagger skill, which we'll talk about soon. And the 5 set also gives you attack power. There is no intellect on any of the pieces, but almost every piece of this set has strength on it. Shadowfang Keep drops a few items as pre-raid bis, unless of course there are changes to the loot tables in Season of Discovery. Commander's Crest, as mentioned previously, the Silver Lane's Family Seal, and the Butcher's Cleaver are all great items from this dungeon for Shaman tanks. Something that's actually worth noting is getting your hands on a pretty good dagger and then enchanting that dagger with Flame Tongue Weapon rank 2. This will help you squeeze out a little bit more damage when you're not currently tanking the boss, or if you're just out in the world leveling and getting gear or farming stuff. A notable one would be the Meteor Shard from Archmage Arugal in Shadowfang Keep. So since you're going to be in there anyway, getting your shield and your ring and your axe, might as well try and pick up the Meteor Shard as well, as it serves as a really good off-tanking weapon to squeeze out more damage. So you're going to be doing a lot more DPS. Then when you need to taunt or when you need to take the boss back, if there's a tank mechanic involved, all you need to do is equip your main hand axe or mace, put Walkbaiter on it if it's not already there, and then press Earthshock and you're good to go. For professions, I myself will likely be going leatherworking and skinning at first, considering there are a lot of notable recipes that you can craft to get an edge on your gear. And since there is at this point only a level cap and not a profession cap, we can utilize a lot of the strong items we can get from crafting professions. Once I have obtained the best items through leatherworking, like the earthen leather shoulders, the deviate scale belt, and heavy armor kits, I will likely unlearn skinning and move on to engineering to get items like bright eye goggles, training dummies, and iron grenades to help me tank in raids and dungeons. In Classic WoW, you can choose whichever profession you want. They offer some help, but aren't an end-all be-all. I have just mentioned which ones I think will be most helpful for your Shaman tank. As mentioned before, everything is subject to change, but I wanted to share some early insight on Shaman tanking going into the Season of Discovery. If things do change, I promise to revise the information and present new material that is current and up to date. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like it. Leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are going into the Classic Plus and what you're most excited about. Please subscribe and consider supporting my content on Patreon and twitch.tv/Barokoshama. I'll leave all the links, like I said, in the description of the video down below. So for now, farewell, and until next time, keep calm and Maelstrom on.